Harvey Weinstein is known to exhibit the worst of human characteristics to all those that I know who have dealt with him in business. So what does it tell you that Obama donor Weinstein arranged the Michelle Obama Oscars appearance, according to the Hollywood Reporter? The Silver Linings Playbook producer and promoter approached the Academy Awards president and producers who loved the idea. Michelle Obama, who said, "We watch movies all the time at the White House," also liked the idea. And so she made this appearance. Now, I never had much respect for Jack Nicholson. I always loved his acting, but I figured he was a typical DB. I can pretty much figure out, how you spell that one. He always looked to me like a guy who way overestimated himself. I've always enjoyed his acting. This is the end of the Jack Nicholson experience, what he did to himself last night. It was not just introducing the First Lady. That's something that a pawn would do if he's asked to do it. But Nicholson coming on like he's still a wild, crazy guy. "Oh, I guess the reason they didn't have a woman up here is because I'd be looking at her sequins." He's like the check pants guy from the 70s. He's wild and crazy, that Jack Nicholson. He's some ladies' man, that Jack Nicholson. "Oh, that Jack sure gets the ladies. Oh, the ladies sure love Jack. Oh, look at the twinkle in Jack's eye. Oh, that Jack is something." Did you hear any of this last night? Actually, I only listened to that. I did not watch the Oscars. But I did watch. I was lucky enough to tune in at the end and see a new low hit. So let's start with clip one on the Savage Nation.
I don't suppose any of you have ever noticed that traditionally the Best Picture award is presented solo. Probably because they don't want some guy like me messing around making comments about sequins, chiffon, ringlets.
Oh, you're so wild, Jack. Jack can still get it on.
However,
that Jack's really wild.
It's a great pleasure to introduce live from the White House the First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama.
Unheard of. My jaw dropped. I've never seen anything approaching this in my lifetime. I've never seen the debasement of the office of the presidency as I have under the Obamas. They have no class whatsoever. These two people are the lowest class inhabitants of the White House. And I'll stick by those words. I don't care who doesn't like it. I don't care what you apply to me. They could have said no, but they didn't say no. So now they're swimming with the sharks of Hollywood. Hollywood swimming with the sharks of the Democrat Party. And I could play Michelle's speech, but there's nothing there, and there's no point in playing it for you. There's no grist in that particular sound. I want to leap to something that I watched. The minute she started to speak, I turned it off. I couldn't believe what I was watching. So I turned on History Channel. And lo and behold, what are they running? They're running a story about the Nazi film industry. I said, this can't be true. Well, they picked it, obviously. They figured there'd be some people who would run away from the Oscars and, have a program. The History Channel figured this is interesting. It's got to do with the time the Nazis on the Goebbels tried to make movies to compete with America and to compete with Britain. And so they did a movie called The Nazi Titanic. It was astounding, the level of propaganda. Now, in watching this story on the History Channel on the Nazi Titanic, certain things jumped out of the TV at me, literally right in my ears, and I said, I have to tell my audience tomorrow on the Savage Nation what I just heard. A few things I heard. One of the things I heard was that in order to get ahead in the Hitler Nazi film world, you had to be a member of the party, the Nazi Party. Many of them were not really political. In fact, artists were traditionally apolitical in Germany and everywhere else, but it had become so obvious to German film producers and filmmakers and film actors and actresses and directors that they had to be Nazi Party members to get ahead in the Nazi film industry once the dictator took over. A bell went off in my head as I watched the puppets of Hollywood, all members in good standing of the party. Not the Nazi Party, of course. No, the Democrat Socialist Party USA. All of these very, very wealthy people acting like they're still downtrodden. So the Nazis of World War II made films, and it was a weapon. They said they could not win World War II with bombs alone. They said that they needed propaganda. And Joseph Goebbels, the head of the Nazi propaganda machine, personally commissioned a movie called The Titanic. It was a potent weapon, he thought, to demonize the English people. And it was supposed to be the Third Reich's cinematic masterpiece. I'm not going to go into the details because the allegories are obvious, and There's no point in talking about the movie itself. The bigger picture is what I'm talking about. The government media complex, the fact that in order to get ahead in Nazi Germany's film industry, you had to be a member of the party. And I said, boy, does that sound familiar to me. And I said, I have to mention that to my audience. Now, I don't know what to ask you, truthfully. I don't know exactly what. Is there a question I can ask you attached to this? There's no question. I'll just have to keep talking with you because it's getting worse by the day under this this regime in the White House. Next, we hear the First Lady from the White House besmirching the office of the presidency itself, again in that wig, in that shock wig in clip 2. Listen to her in the shock wig.
Thank you, Jack, and welcome to the White House, everyone. I am so honored to help introduce this year's nominees for Best Picture and to help celebrate the movies that
Turn
lift
it off. Shame on you. Shame on you, Michelle Obama. You have just dragged the White House to the lowest possible level. For you to take the White House, the office of the presidency, and do what you're doing to it by dragging it down to the level of the sewer pipe of Hollywood, as exemplified by that fabulous individual, Harvey Weinstein, is something that historians should note if we still had historians who are themselves not wanting to get ahead by being members of the party. Lisa in Massachusetts, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much for taking my call. I wanted to just comment. I saw the Oscar awards, and I was equally floored, shocked, when I saw Michelle Obama. And then I thought about it because I've seen the film like many people have seen Silver Linings Playbook, and it made sense to me. And I just wanted to share this with you and your listeners.
Well, I don't understand. What did the movie have to... What made sense to you?
What made sense was Harvey Weinstein, I think he directed the film Silver Linings Playbook, and I saw that movie recently in Boston. And I
know, but why would the First Lady agree to besmirch the office of the presidency as she did by appearing via a video link before the slime of Hollywood?
Well, what made sense to me, and I know it's a loose connection, but it is a connection nonetheless, is getting back to that film again, if I may, just for a minute.
What's the gist of the film? I never heard. I don't even know what it is. What's it about?
It's about someone who deals with manic depression, and I'm a former clinical...
Oh, God, what a nation of whiners and losers. I've never seen anything like it. Did you hear my show on Friday? Did you happen to hear my show on Friday? Where I said that in China, Kung Fu academies are teaching hundreds of thousands of young Chinese the following: no weakness, no pain, no mercy. And here in America, we have a government teaching people to say, I'm weak, I hurt, and I need the government to take care of me. It's disgusting. A nation of weaklings cannot survive. Do you understand that? It's against the natural order of things. It's against nature itself. No society on earth can survive that encourages the people to claim that they're sick and they're weak and disabled and they need help from the government. The society implodes. No wonder Weinstein is so popular with the socialist grifters who are running the whole show. You know, I found a map. Someone sent it to me over the Friday. I put it up on michaelsavage.com. You have to look at the map. And the map is of the United States of America. And it shows 11 states where the number of welfare recipients exceed the number of job holders. This includes New York. It includes California and other states, where if you tally the people receiving welfare, food stamps, and various other government handouts, the number of people on welfare in 11 states exceeds the number of people who hold jobs. Now, how can a country survive that has such a quotient? And how can a country survive that has such a devious president who continues to want to encourage dependency upon the government? That's the connection to the sewer pipe of Hollywood that I'm trying to tell you. Look at the themes of most of the products that come out of the sewer pipe of Hollywood today. Have you recently seen a soldier that was heroic? No. No. Most of the soldiers are either war criminals or in some way besmirched. When have you last seen a movie made by the sewer pipe controllers like Harvey Weinstein that showed a cop as a hero? How about the answer is never? Every cop that the warped, twisted minds of Hollywood produce have the criminals as the superhero and the cops as the criminal. And boy, are they laughing all the way to the bank, aren't they? You know, you can't buy a Gulfstream in Hollywood unless you produce movies that twist the world upside down. It's the Savage Nation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. 855-400-7282 if you want to call in about... Well, I can ask you a question now. How do you feel about Michelle Obama appearing at the Academy Awards? I'll make it very basic. Maybe some of you loved it. Maybe you liked her wig. Maybe you liked her dress. Maybe you liked her sappy speech. Maybe you thought it was wonderful to see a presidency brought down to this level. I'm from another world, perhaps. Maybe I'm not in touch with reality. Maybe you know reality. I think that perhaps the next Oscars should be hosted by Louis Farrakhan, because during Sunday's annual Savers Day convention in Chicago, Minister Louis Farrakhan said that gangbangers could serve a better purpose by training to become soldiers who protect his group's assets. I'm not making up one word about what I'm going to say. He said this: "All you gangbangers," said Louis Farrakhan, "we know you love to shoot, but you're killing yourselves. All your weapons are illegal, and you're using them like savages." Farrakhan said he was going to contact Chicago's gang leaders with a proposition. He said since gang members are natural soldiers, they could be instructed in the science of war and taught to protect the Nation of Islam's property and assets. I'm not making up a word. Here's the last word that I'm going to read to you from Farrakhan's speech, and you'll see how it ties into the Obamas. Farrakhan said to the crowd of 10,000 people, "Even though one of our own has reached the highest pinnacle of the American political system, his presence has not, cannot, and will not solve our problems." What does he mean, one of our own? Does he mean a Muslim? What does he mean, one of our own has reached the highest pinnacle of the American political system? And he said his presence cannot solve our problems. So Farrakhan is basically implying that he needs a race war run by gangbangers to solve their problems. That's why I think Harvey Weinstein should call Louis Farrakhan immediately and invite him to be the presenter at next year's Academy Awards ceremony.
And to help celebrate the movies that lift our spirits, broaden our minds, and transport us to places we have never imagined.
The sewer pipe of Hollywood doesn't do that, Michelle. What movies are you watching?
I want to congratulate all the nominees on their tremendous work.
You know what I think about it? My jaw dropped. I thought it was very low class of Michelle Obama to appear at the Oscars, because we all know that the Oscars celebrate everything anti-American. Virtually everything that is against everything that the decent people in this country believe in is celebrated by the sewer pipe, through the sewer pipe of Hollywood. Doesn't mean it's not entertaining. It doesn't mean it's not entertaining. Many people find a fascination with bums, perverts, murderers. We all find fascination with these things, but you don't have a presidency that stoops to the level of celebrating it with them, do you?
These lessons apply to all of us, no matter who we are or what we look like or where we come from or who we love. But they are especially important for our young people. Every day, through engagement in the arts, our children learn to open their imagination.
You got the picture. You've heard this pap before from school teachers across America browbeating our children into the liberal agenda. To me, it was a new low in propaganda. I've never seen anything like it. It was jaw-dropping. It was a propaganda moment in American history that should never be forgotten. To bring the First Lady down to this level, to besmirch the office of the White House, to show you that, look, Michelle and Barack Obama truly don't understand what they're doing to the office of the presidency, or do they? I mean, that's really a question for someone else. I don't know if they really know what they're doing. I know that they have an agenda and they know what they're doing with the First, Second Amendment, several others as well, ban guns, ban free speech. We can go down the amendments one by one if you'd like, and I will show you what this man's ultimate punch list would be. I was laying in bed last night thinking about it. If this man had no Congress to impede him, this left-wing fanatic and his wife and his mother-in-law, what would their agenda be, I asked myself. And I went down the list of amendments to the U.S. Constitution, and I said, well, let's see, the First Amendment, he'd like to eliminate any opposition to his policies in the media. Second Amendment, you know where he wants to go with that, completely disarm the population. Never mind, take away clips, take away this. This man would like to take your gun away. If that schmuck in New York can take your sodas away, this one can take your guns away, he figures. If this guy can take away the sodas from the poor, this little Mussolini there, this Napoleon in New York, this little schmuck, whatever his name is, the billionaire putz of New York. I forget his name. I really do. Bloomberg. Bloomberg is an example of what it proves the point that you could be a billionaire and a moron. Why would the man target large sodas who the poor use in order to save money? If you order a pizza, they order a 32-ounce bottle of soda to split with people. So this rich putz, Bloomberg, says, no, you're going to only buy a 16-ounce soda so you can pay for 2 sodas, number one, and number 2, you could add plastic to the landfill. We're going to increase pollution and increase costs because I want you to not have more soda in your house. So now, first of all, it's unconstitutional what Bloomberg did. There is no way in the world he could get away with this if someone would to fight him, by the way. But Bloomberg is so out of touch with reality. I'll ban salt, nothing. I'll ban fat, nothing. I'll ban this, nothing. I'll ban that, no opposition. So it's the same on a national level. But getting back to the White House, I have to ask you, and I'll move on to other topics. We do have the Louis Farrakhan speech, which is going to bring the House down because you're not going to believe what's being planned behind the scenes. You're not going to believe it. This didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of Farrakhan on the very day that these other things were going on. Do you think that Michelle Obama's appearance at the Oscar ceremony via video link was disrespectful to the office of the presidency? Is a decent, fair question. Let's begin in New York City tonight on WABC. Kathleen, go ahead. You're on the Savage Nation.
Good evening, Dr. Savage.
You're one of the eight women listeners that I have in New York City. That's wonderful.
I thought Michelle Obama, I had turned on the TV just to check out the dresses and the shoes. I'm a woman. Then I turned it on at the end of the show, hoping I would catch whatever. And Jack Nicholson comes out with this big baggy suit on like he's a clown. And when he introduced Michelle Obama, I thought it was despicable. I could not believe that.
Yes, well, he was despicable. He was still trying to act like he was the wild, potent, a goat, still running after women. He was still the wild guy. No. You know, I never liked men who always boasted about their sexual conquests. I've known them my whole life. Usually they're impotent and they're hiding something. Jack Nicholson reminds me of that type, but to exhibit it again at age, 70, whatever, oh, they didn't have a woman up here with me because I'd be talking about her dress, and the audience on cue, oh, that Jack is a wild card. He's some potent guy, huh? He has a way with the ladies. I mean, did you hear all of that yourself, Kathleen?
That there was 4 soldiers, or more than 4 soldiers behind her. She never once mentioned them, introduced them, thanked them. You know, female.
Well, because it was all about her. It was all about her. And I think that we have covered the story here. I personally think it was offensive. It's a new low in propaganda. Don't you think so?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, although I'm number 1 in male demos in New York City, beating all other stations in January, men 21 plus, which means the younger people like me as well, by the way. You could say, oh, it's only old white guys. Well, I guess it's old white guys and black guys and Hispanic guys and Asian guys over 21 because I'm number 1 in the biggest station in America, which is on WABC in my time slot. How could that happen? He didn't go through Harvey Weinstein. How'd he get on the radio? He's not one of us. He's not a party member. That Savage isn't a party member. How is he getting ahead? How can he get ahead? He's not a member of the party. He's not carrying his little card around. Member of the Democrat Socialist Party USA. So anyway, she's one of my 8 listeners amongst all of the men. Lots of men, but only 8 women in New York City listen to me. I want you to hear clip 13, going back to that movie that I saw on the History Channel last night about the Nazi Titanic movie. And I want you to listen to this. It's chilling to listen to 13. Listen.
The propaganda message of the film, in some ways, quite simple and straightforward. It demonstrates this idea that a society is really in collapse when it begins to value profit over people. Really is an important message that I think that Goebbels' propaganda ministry really hoped to put out there.
Only by distorting the facts can Goebbels achieve the message he wants to convey. That that the corrupt British will be better off ruled by the morally upright Nazi Party.
Morally upright Nazi Party filled with junkies and degenerates, heroin addicts, cross-dressers, mass murderers, child killers, rapists. That's the morally upright Nazi Party. But putting that aside, what's interesting to me is that Hitler's message in many ways parallels that of the Occupy movement. The Occupy movement, which has many supporters in the Democrat Party, says that profit is illicit, and the people should be put ahead of profits rather than you shouldn't have a society built upon capitalism. Hitler had the same viewpoint because he was a socialist. Hitler was a National Socialist. Now, what do the Democrats and the National Socialists have in common? Unfortunately, too many things. You don't want to accept it. You don't want to see where this is going and how it can end up with the worst possible consequences, but I do this for a living, so I see things. I am like Linnaeus, the pilot seer of the Argonauts, to bring it into science fiction. I fly on the highest mast in talk radio, probably in the American media. I see things from the highest mast in the media, and I see much farther ahead than anybody in this country in the media. I challenge you to prove anyone who sees farther than I do. And I am telling you that the Democrat Socialist Party of America today under Barack Obama has too many things in common with dictatorships of the past. Let's leave it at that without getting too specific.